couple big rulings from the Supreme Court coming out this morning. Just moments ago, the Supreme Court ruled the president must turn over tax records to New York prosecutors. It was the Manhattan ruling. It was a 7-2 decision with Trump Justices Kavanaugh and Gorsuch ruling in the majority there. However, they did block Congress from accessing the president's taxes, at least for now. They punted to the lower courts. Joining us now with brand new reaction is Hogan Gidley, National Press Secretary for the Trump 2020 campaign. So, Hogan, instead of representing the White House, you're representing the campaign. Welcome in your new role this morning. First, your reaction on these rulings from the highest court this morning.
Thank you so much for the welcome. I just say that this obviously is being kicked back down to the lower courts to be relitigated. The problem is for the Democrats that this exposes a purely partisan political attack that's been going on against this president for quite some time. And I hate to say it, but this issue was already litigated back in 2016. The president put forth more than 100 pages of documents outlining his taxes and the companies he owns and the business dealings he's had. And what did we find out? He's rich. He's a billionaire. He owns it. He's been very successful in the private sector. But he gave all that up to come be the president of the United States to make the American people's lives better. He's done that at every single turn, and we'll put that record up against anybody's.
All right. So the Manhattan DA, Vance, called this a tremendous victory on the part of his case. And the president has responded saying that this is political prosecution. So we'll continue to get reaction to both of those this morning. But meanwhile, even during those Supreme Court decisions coming down, we were talking about this Tom Friedman piece yesterday in the New York Times, talking about conditions that Joe Biden should put on actually showing up at a presidential debate with President Trump, one of which was the president should have to turn over his taxes first, and second, they should agree to real-time fact-checking if they do that. His piece was Biden should not debate Trump unless, and he laid out those conditions. James Carville went on another network and basically flipped the script, and he does not mince words. Listen to this.
Of course Biden wants to debate Trump. Trump is a doofus dolt. All right. Biden debated Elizabeth Warren, Bernie Sanders, who's the most on-message politician I've seen in my life, Cory Booker, Amy Klobuchar. He should debate him without condition anywhere that he wants to. Joe Biden will trounce Donald Trump in any debate.
Weigh in on this, Hogan.
Well, I love the fact that James Carville would point to the past debates of Joe Biden. Let's be clear, that's why he was last in all of the polls during the debates. It was only South Carolina that saved him. When you're on a debate stage, you can't reach out like Joe Biden has done so many times and said, please, please bring me my documents. I need to read off of the fact sheet that my staff has given me. You're going to hear interesting comments from Joe Biden about how children love his leg hair and how he used to coax children up onto the porch with ice cream during quarantines. And how he doesn't know the dates of 9/11, when it happened, what year.
Hogan,
those
are
things
about
that
whether or not the president wants to debate Joe Biden, and whether or not inside the Joe Biden camp they're urging Joe Biden to debate Donald Trump. Who benefits the most from a debate?
Well, obviously, the President of the United States, Donald Trump, and that's the point I was trying to make. How many gaffes has Joe Biden had in the last little bit, just during this campaign alone? Forget the 50 years of politics that he's been involved with. He's a gaffe machine. Now, the problem is, as you well know, 93% negative news coverage against this president as he's improving the lives of all Americans, and they gloss over, the media does, writ large, over all of the gaffes of Joe Biden. But nonetheless, the president wants to debate Joe Biden. He wants to give the American people the choice side by side. And when you see what Joe Biden has done to the American worker, voting for NAFTA, crushing 850,000 jobs, this president renegotiates the deal, gets rid of it. USMCA was celebrated yesterday with the president of Mexico. That could lead to 600,000 jobs and $235 billion into GDP. He's helped the American worker at every turn. Joe Biden has crushed the American worker. And on top of that, Joe Biden is waging a war on the American way of life. Your jobs will not be safe. Your family will not be safe. Neither will your way of life be if Joe Biden is elected. Got
it. Okay, so that's the messaging on the part of the Trump campaign. There are some massive ad buys on the part of the Trump campaign as well. Is that a sign of strength or weakness? It's a question we're posing on FoxNews.com.
Well, if you want to know the truth, it's a sign of strength. We have a lot of money at this campaign because this president has been able to sell the fact that he has done real, tangible, positive accomplishments for every single American citizen. When you see record low unemployment for African American, Asian American, Hispanic Americans, women employed at record numbers like they haven't seen. Those are all because of the policies of this president. You can compare and contrast that with what the Barack Obama, Joe Biden-backed policies of the past did. It crippled our economy at every turn. Jobs were leaving, fleeing this country, never to be heard from again if you listen to the lies of Joe Biden. But they're back because of this president. We've seen the last 2 months record job growth as well. And those ads simply go out there and point out the difference between the incredible successes of this president and the colossal failures
Finally,
of
I
Joe
want to ask
Biden
you
in the
about the
past.
upcoming rally, the second that the president will be holding outdoors this time since the coronavirus pandemic. ABC News is reporting that the campaign is considering displaying statues at future rallies. Not exactly clear what those statues would resemble. Is that a plan?
Well, I'm not going to get ahead of what we do as far as planning is concerned with the campaign, other than to say, per usual, we will have temperature screenings for everybody who comes there, hand sanitizer for those as well, masks, we encourage people to wear those. But if you have any question or concern or confusion about how Donald Trump feels about the history of this country and the colossal titans upon whose shoulders we stand, the Frederick Douglasses, the Harriet Tubmans, the George Washingtons, the Thomas Jeffersons, just go back and look at his speech in front of Mount Rushmore, in which he talked about how all men, all women are created equal under the law. And because we are all created in the image of an almighty God, he wants equality and fairness for everybody, regardless of race, religion, or color or creed.
Got it. Okay. Hogan Gidley joining us from the Trump campaign. Your first time joining us in that new role. Appreciate your time this morning, Hogan. Come back soon. Thank you.
Thanks so much, Sandra.